Hi everyone, and welcome to our program Don't Just Make Art, Let's Talk About Art. Today we'll continue our discussion about the environment crisis and how can this issue be solved through art. Something to remember is that the most important thing is that art is the most important tool that reminds us of our love of nature and wildlife. So it enhances our respect and our relationship with the natural world. It has the power to bring people together around an environmental cause. What is interesting is that today our guest artist is exploring this topic through her photography. And most important is that she's researching about the importance of green space for the community and for our physical and mental health as well. So it'll be a really interesting topic, is very actual, is happening, and is really nice to hear about it. So welcome, Eva, to our program, and how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm doing well. I'm coming to the end of my degree, so I'm writing my dissertation and finishing my final project, which is a bit stressful. But yeah, glad to be here and glad to be talking about this today.
That's exciting. We really wanted to figure out, about your project, to find out more, and really exciting. But tell us a little bit about your background. Can you tell us about the school and where actually your inspiration for photography started?
Yeah, of course. So I'm from the South Coast, so near Brighton. And I actually started learning photography at A-level, but before then I've had an interest in it. My dad's quite creative and I've always been surrounded and have a want to do creative things like sewing and other, making things. And then got a camera for Christmas, maybe when I was about 14, 15, and was just taking it on family walks and just taking photographs a lot of the time, and decided to pick it up at A-levels alongside doing politics and sociology. So I was kind of learning about all of that stuff in there and then exploring it using photography, which then led me on to do a degree in it in Cardiff. So that's where I am at the moment, finishing that, studying documentary photography.
Oh, interesting. Thank you so much. So I have your website. I'm just going to share with everyone, just to have a little bit more the insights of your work. So can you tell us a little bit more about the documentary photography, what it is, and can you tell us more about your recent project, Preserved in Pine?
Yeah, of course. So documentary photography, it's changed a lot over the years. And I'm on a course in Cardiff that has been going for a long time. So since when it started to now, it's definitely changed. Before it used to be a lot of people would be commissioned to make picture stories and around like social issues. So for example, a well-known project called Country Doctor, which was by W. Eugene Smith. And this was shot in 1948. And it explored the life of a GP that was tasked with providing 24-hour medical service to about 2,000 people in a small town in America. So these were the kind of stories that were being commissioned, and they would then be published in magazines such as Life magazine or Picture Post. But it's changed quite a lot since then and now when I'm studying it. And those kind of stories are more similar to photojournalism and news photography that we see at the moment. And documentary photography has kind of expanded and kind of expanded more into art photography, and it all kind of is a lot more mixed now. And there's also been a growth in photo books as well. So photographers having more authorship over the work rather than it being commissioned by, say, newspaper or something like that. So that's kind of documentary photography, or my definition of it. And then in terms of my project Preserved in Pine, so that was the last university project I completed. And I was exploring the idea of natural climate solutions. So this is the idea that through restoring and funding spaces, that store carbon, can actually have an impact on global warming and the climate crisis, because, obviously those spaces are important, and actually they only get about 2% of funding for all problems for climate solutions. So yes, that's what it was about. So it included, so these places are like woodlands, peatlands, grasslands, and I went out and I took photographs in these spaces. And then I turn them into cyanotypes. So that's an alternative photography process, and it doesn't use like nasty chemicals, and it uses a lot less water than film photography would. So it's also an environmentally conscious practice, which is important when talking about environmental issues. I like to make sure I'm linking the process and the concept as well. So a cyanotype, they're traditionally used, that you might have, they're very well known. They're like bright blue prints traditionally, and they're often of outlines of plants. So Anna Atkins was a really famous woman who did, she studied plants, and those were cyanotypes. So to make them, firstly, I went out and took my photos, and then I got the photos printed onto acetate. So they were see-through and inverted. And then what you do is, in the dark, I painted over cyanotype chemicals, which is a mix of two chemicals that you can buy online very cheaply, so it's accessible as well, onto watercolor paper. And you then expose that and the acetate, so they sit together. So the watercolor paper is here, and then the acetate is on top. And you shine a UV light onto it, which then exposes the print. So I shined it on for about 30 minutes. And this transfers the image onto the paper. And then you just wash it for about 5 minutes in water, and they're then brick blue at this point. And I then took the process further by taking pine needles from these spaces and boiling them up to create a solution that I then soaked the prints in, which is why they're this brown colour. And the pine needles have an ingredient called tannin, which is found in a lot of plant matter and food like coffee, wine. You can use a lot of different things, but I went with pine needles again because it links to this idea of trees and places that are storing carbon. So that's that project.
Wow, that's really interesting. And this new process of photography, is it quite actual? Has it been used before, or it is new introduced?
No, it has been used, quite a lot before, but it's more being used, like people put plants on top. So you have the paper and then they put a plant, and then usually put it out in the sun. But I was working in winter in Wales and there wasn't that much sun, so I bought a UV lamp. But it's really, really easy to do, and you just leave them out there in the sun for 10 minutes or so, and then wash them, and that's the print done. And then obviously you can take it further and tone them or leave them as blue prints.
That is really interesting. And I can see this like in a new project that young ones can be involved in, a course that young people can learn, about these new things. And it's really, really exciting. Now, from my perspective as a visual artist, I was really excited about your project Into the Wild. So I just want to share with everyone the pictures, and I'm really curious, how did you capture this image? It's really nice. I know it's like the technique is really unusual.
It is actually it's through a bike stand, like where you'd put all your bikes. So it's like a sheet of glass or plastic, and then the plants one side and I'm the other side. And because they'd all been pushed against it and it had been raining, it had all fogged up, and then I photographed it through there. So just a lucky coincidence that it had been raining.
It's really nice effect, and I can see this as a painting, as inspiration for, visual artists. It's really, really nice. The techniques came out very nice. And then if I click on the next images, is showing us the project that you mentioned on the website involved the local community.
Yeah. So this was another university project that the brief was all about engaging the local community. So the year group was split in half, and we then half of us chose an area of Cardiff that we were going to photograph, and then we all did individual projects there. So I got in contact with two local community gardens that went gardening weekly, and I started going and helping out and photographing them and getting to know them, and also creating a project. And I was interested in, these people coming together every week and gardening and getting to know each other, and that community interaction, and also the interaction with the nature. And since then have become very interested in gardening myself and getting more and more houseplants in my room, and just really the importance of being in green spaces. I guess that's been even more evident with the lockdowns and stuff. But it just being really important for people's mental health and well-being. So I looked into the research behind all of that, and how the colour green can be really boost people's mood. So really, interested in that. And also interested in engaging the community. So the exhibition was exhibited nearby in the community, along with all the other projects from my peers as well. And the local community were invited. So that was really the aim of it. And I think that is really important, and is in terms of engaging the community and making sure that art is about interacting with people and interacting with art, and making sure that it's immersive. So that's actually what I'm writing my dissertation on at the moment, is immersive and engaging community projects. So I think that is really important, and something that I will definitely be making sure my work is as I go forward as well.
It is really interesting and very powerful message. It's like every council can use this idea and promote for the communities, to explore more the engagement, the art. So it's like a mix of everything. You have the art, you have the community engagement, you have everything. So it's really interesting for everyone to get into more closer to nature, explore the things that are around us and are helping for our mental health, well-being. And it is really interesting. And how powerful the art can be is just outstanding in any forms.
Definitely. It's all about having multiple avenues of engaging people as well. Like art can be one, and then you have different things as well. But art, can be so experimental as well, and different people have different reactions to it, which is important as well.
Yeah, exactly. And from your experience, what advice do you have for young aspiring artists, and how do you think can develop their awareness of climate and ecology?
I think that from experience, Instagram is a great tool. Obviously, you need to be old enough to be able to use it, but I think it can be really important because you see so much work, you're really absorbed in the sphere that you want to go into, whether that's photography or painting or sculptures. There's so many people out there always posting work. And it's been really interesting. I've just found so many more people since starting up my Instagram that's solely for my photography. And you also see submissions that are happening all the time. There are so many different submissions relevant to exactly what you're interested in. And I also think, in terms of awareness of climate and ecology, there are so many great accounts that talk about that, not even connected to art, but just to sharing information, posting infographics that I often save and will then inspire future projects, because my work is very research based and I'm interested in climate issues and then translating it into art or photography. So seeing this research that people are posting is really important. I've got 3 suggestions of people to follow. So the first one is @ClimateInColour on Instagram, which is the place that I save most of my information from. They post conversations around climate, but they're also making sure that they're being more diverse and more accessible as well in that information. And then Atmos is another one, which is a magazine, and they often post information. And then the Earth Issue is another one. So I would suggest, following the right accounts, and that is not limited to just art, because then your feed is full of information and inspiration as well. And then for young aspiring artists, I would just say it's all about experimenting, really. So this could be with different styles or different processes, which is what I'm interested in increasingly at the moment. And also, it's not about being afraid to copy work that you like. I think that that's important because you'll ultimately learn from that and develop your own style from it as well. And then finally, I just say that it's just about putting in effort. If you put in enough effort, then you're going to see the reward. So I am often submitting to places, and actually that's why I'm here today talking to you guys, is because I submitted to art, which is artists responding to, and then my work got found. So yeah, that is a really important, and that I found that through Creator Space. So yeah, just submitting to things and just keep going and experimenting, really.
Indeed, it's all also about the connection. So just connect as much as you can, like you mentioned, social media. And I just want to share with everyone your website. And after the interview, Eva, if you can, maybe on Facebook or Instagram, if you can leave in the comment box the links that you told us.
Yeah, of course.
It's amazing. Because we know so many young ones that they are so much interested about the environment, about the ecology, and they are doing lots of poetry and different other type of art, to express their feelings about their concern, because it's a concern. The environment is changing, the temperatures are going either too high, either too low, and this will affect the future, which is them, the young ones. So definitely they are worried about this, and they're trying their best to have their voice heard. So it is really good thing for them to find ways to express themselves, find new type of arts, and photography, I think, is the most accessible way for young ones to show this. And it's really good for the future, because we have just one planet and we need to save it. I know everyone is excited to go travel on the moon or other planets, but still, for the moment we are living here and we need to save what we have. And I think art is the most powerful tool to express this. Yeah,
no, I agree. I think, you can be really creative, and that's what's really important about it. And self-expression, it's just really important. And just not feeling defeated by it. It is a really important topic, obviously, and it's also, overwhelming as well. And I find it overwhelming, but it's about doing your best and doing as much as you can, and that's all you can do.
Exactly. Just look around and use the resources that you have. Don't use, don't have so much waste and always try to rethink about each object, about all these things. And this will make us, hopefully to have a more safe future. Hopefully, yes. Eva was amazing. You gave us a good hint for the young ones, for councils. Maybe they can take this idea of how to create community works. And it is amazing. And documentary photography as well is I found it something new and very exciting. So it will be really nice for young ones that they want to pursue a career as a photographers to see the different sides of this art. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Eva. Thank you for being here with us. Please share with us the links that you mentioned. Sounds really interesting on Instagram page. Brilliant. Meanwhile, everyone, you can find us on all social media, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, the address at Art Classes Group. Join all the online community. Try to mix as much, try to engage as much, have your voice heard, all the concerns that you have, explore different art communities. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here with us. Leave your comments in the comment box. And I hope everyone, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time. And Eva, once again, thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. Thanks. See you guys in 2 weeks' time. Thanks, Eva.